We have a very exciting live. I hope you can hear me. Last time we had a bit of issues with the audio. So today we are having our answers to our questions from a legitimate divine masculine. And you know they're legitimate when they don't want to come on the live, okay? So you lot gave me loads of questions, okay? I grouped them up according to themes, which we'll go through, because some of the questions were like repetition. You can hear me, Brooke, and last time you're doing that. I will look at the comments, right? So if I am not audible, I'll see it this time around. I'm clued up. But basically, I do have a few divine masculines who follow me, okay? And this divine masculine used to be a bit like not great with me in the beginning, but they're really good now. And it is a male. He is heterosexual, meaning he is straight, okay? And definitely twin flame, because, you know, sometimes you get these people and you don't know if they're twin flames, and, you know, we get a lot of female DFs or, you know, LGBT, whatever. No, this is a straight male, okay, who's a divine masculine. And I know because he's been chatting to me for a while, and in the beginning he was a bit nasty to me. Just like there was another divine masculine on TikTok who used to be quite verbal, abusive. But I know this one he's completely transformed and made up, apologized. He's so good. But he's heterosexual, he's straight, he's male, and he's divine masculine, and he has been so grateful and happy to answer these questions for us. And you know that he's genuine because he doesn't want to appear on the live, okay? The true divine masculines won't really want to appear on lives. They're not that worried about spiritual stuff, and also they feel maybe a little bit bad about what they've done to their DFs and stuff like that. So that's how you genuinely know this is legit. So put all your questions down on a piece of paper. I asked him the questions, I grouped them up. So there's 9 groupings, okay? So the ones that we're going to go through in sections. And obviously, loads of you wrote loads of questions, and some of your questions were about karmics and marriage, and not all of those are going to apply to him because he didn't go through all the same things, right? I'll go through the sections that we're going to talk about, but basically he met his twin flame, divine feminine, at university, and soon as he saw her, he felt a strong sexual attraction. And then he didn't know it was twin flame or whatever, and nor did he know she was the one, but he felt the strong sexual attraction, but it scared the living daylights. And his fears, his insecurities that she's going to reject him and leave him all came up. So he was struggling with that, going into addictions and whatever else. And she was going back with her ex or boyfriend or something like that, trying to manipulate and trigger him that way, which didn't work. Then she did her inner work, and basically as she would do her inner work, automatically there and then, he would be forced by the divine to do it. It's very interesting when we go through the questions. But he explained to me the fact that for them, for divine masculines, they get guidance from above, like intuitively, and they know when it's time to reach out, come back or not come back, or they get stopped. They want to reach out, they do think about us, but in separation for them, it's very peaceful and blissful, whereas for us, it's torturous, right? But for them, they do think about us, not as much probably as we do. They do have dreams and all the signs and synchronicities, and they try to block it, try to move on with other people, but it doesn't work out. And they are inbuilt intuitively. They know when to come back. They know they only are allowed to come back when they know you've done your work and you're ready for it, and when they're ready for it. So they're not actually being assholes. They know what is up. They're a lot more clued up than you think. Okay, so the different sections we're going to go through is number 1, the divine masculine's feelings towards the divine feminine and the connection. The second section, there's loads of questions in between that. The second question is about divine masculine's fears, resistance, and awakening. Then the third one is about separation, longing, and no contact. The fourth one is about telepathy, signs, and spiritual synchronicities. Loads of questions for that as well. Fifth one is karmic relationships and their impact. Sixth one is reunion and communication. Now this divine masculine, they're very close to union now, and he knows it. He feels it. He knows exactly when it's the right time. The divine speaks to them somehow intuitively. Number 7 is challenges and growth. Number 8 is sexual energy and emotional intensity, because you wanted to know how it feels for them. You know, I've made lives before why the divine masculine thinks he's a sex god. I'll tell you, all the things I've been telling you is actually true. he says they feel like Superman sexually, and all the girls are after them, and they don't know what to do with that power. That Kundalini energy in the sacral, in the root chakra, gets them really sexually like hyped up. That's why they do all the crazy shit, okay? It's not in their control. Number 9 is final thoughts and advice from the DM. So it's going to be very exciting. And like I've just said in the beginning, this is a straight male divine masculine who does not want to appear on social media. It's going to be anonymous. And that's how you know they're legitimate. And I've been speaking with this person for a while. In the beginning, they were a little bit rude to me, a little bit swore at me a couple of times. I always stay balanced. I knew it was the triggers. And now he's lovely, healed so much because going through so much and so kind. And it was my content, actually, surprisingly enough, that helped him to realize it was twin flames and how he understood so much. So let's do the first section first, which is divine masculine's feelings towards divine feminine and the connection. And it's all recorded and it'll be posted. So question 1 is, what does the journey look like from the divine masculine's perspective? So I know loads of you gave questions. These might not be word for word your questions because some of them were repeated. So I grouped them up into sections and I grouped them up according to what he could answer because I don't want to ask him the same thing about telepathy and dreams over and over again. So what does the journey look like from the DM perspective? The journey is so horrible. You cannot imagine it. It is very tough. People want to be in a twin flame relationship for the label, for the tag, but that's not going to happen. You have to put in a lot of effort, a lot of work. There's a lot of issues that come up for us as DMs. Family, hereditary, so like ancestry, genetic traits. And they as divine masculines have to recognize these and basically forgive and let go, he was saying. They have to like realize all these patterns and they see them as patterns, like kind of logical, I reckon. And you have to have faith that you are not, you have to have faith as you're not used to all these things coming up because a lot of stuff comes up for them. Their world gets turned upside down. All of us have been programmed and imprinted from childhood. We are told not to prioritize ourselves, so they've always been sacrificing their own happiness. It's very hard, so hard. So he met his twin flame in July 2023, and he said, like a year back, that's when he had his twin flame initiation, but he met her a year and a half ago. They were both students at university. There was only 2 or 3 years difference. She's 2 or 3 years younger than him. They met in the library at university. And basically, when he, like I was saying, he saw her and he felt extremely sexually attracted to her, like no one else. And no one else has ever like matched that. But it also scared the living daylights out of him and all his insecurities. He kept thinking that if I go with her, she's going to run off with someone else and leave me and I'm going to just be left with nothing. So that's the fears. And then he got into his addictive patterns, the substances and whatever else. Okay. Second question, what does the divine masculine feel about the differences between them? So like you said, there was no age difference. They're from the same country and same sort of area kind of. But the main difference was she was more spiritual than me. And I was scared of her. I couldn't stand her, like the energy. I don't fear anyone normally, but I feared her. I would see her and I would get scared. Fear, I don't know why. I had so much fear about her. You can't even imagine. It's like very intense, he was saying. What if she knew me and got in, and basically, what if she got to know me, got with me, but then she got into another relationship and left me? Obviously, she's not done this, but there was the fear of abandonment. There was love also. It's always there, but there were a lot of issues inside of me. I was sexualizing not only my twin flame, the divine feminine, but I was sexualizing girls. Everyone who was sexualizing a lot of sexual energy, fantasies about girls and other people, but also with the divine feminine. About sexual things about her with others as well. He was just thinking loads of like sexual thoughts, overwhelming him. She also sexualized me, he said. She always exposed herself sexually. And I says, what do you mean? But what he was saying was like, when he'd see her at university, she'd always wear like clothes, probably like normal clothes, but they just couldn't handle it. He'd see her legs and he'd get really turned on and like wild, like crazy. Constantly I have to do things in like, I have to F her, okay? He has to sleep with her. He said it like that. Because it can be quite crude, the masculines, right? So basically that was the thoughts, I have to F her, okay? But you can heal and awake from this, but I still had so many issues at that time. He had loads of issues. Third question, what does the divine masculine feel when the divine feminine tries to explain the spirituality aspects and then he shuts her down? He said, that didn't happen to me. We both didn't try to explain anything to each other. We understood just by looking at each other with the expressions about how deep this was, just by looking, because they met in the library and they study or whatever. We didn't even talk. We only talked twice. This was before, in the beginning, okay? Because now they've been in and out separations and they're near union, right? So we got into a fight when we talked. She was more spiritual. She scared me. If I saw her legs or arms, I got really scared because he was very attracted to her. The attraction, the connection, long time in connection, and then he knew it was going to take him a while to heal. He just knew there was things that he needed to work on. What does the divine masculine feel about life purpose? Okay, his life purpose, he said his life purpose for him was that he knew I should marry her. From the beginning, I had the thought, I need to marry this woman. But she made me so insecure. What if she leaves me? And then he knew that his mission was to get out of these patterns. Not about being with her, but clearing your issues. So he realized that the connection was about clearing his issues more so than being with her. He knew he had to do that, otherwise it wouldn't work. So they're kind of pre-programmed to give us space. So he said, then you get into a relationship with divine feminine, and if you don't clear your issues, you might get distracted. He tried to get into a relationship with others, but it didn't work. The divine used to block it. What does the divine masculine feel when they lose the divine feminine? He felt very jealous. If she talked to other men intentionally, he got very insecure, very jealous, very possessive. What does the divine feminine mean to him? I can't imagine my life without her. We both have a connection beyond imagination. The divine feminine is everything to the divine masculine. She knows everything. She's the first one to have a relationship with. It took me 1 year to recognize that she loves me. My first thoughts that she was manipulating me. So don't trust, okay? It took him over a year to even realize that she actually was genuine in her love. How deep do you feel about your divine feminine, and how would you describe the bond between you? It is so, so deep. You get to know when you come into union. We are nearly there in a few weeks. You can't even say a word. They understand everything just by looking at your face. How did he recognize his divine feminine? Did he just know like we do? I didn't know straight away. There was intense sexual attraction from the beginning, which initiated the journey. The journey starts. Both are very interested in each other. In 6 months, the first 6 months, like I said in the beginning, she started to talk to other boys, her ex or her boyfriend or whatever, and she was doing it to manipulate and to trigger her divine masculine so that he would go for her, because he was obviously scared of her, right? So she's trying to make him jealous. So she used to talk to other boys. I was so jealous and so insecure. I used to smoke a lot at that time to cope. Like he's smoking a lot, his addiction, right? I came to realize that later that she wanted me, but she acted like this to obviously make him jealous. She wasn't serious with other people. She just wanted me to talk to her. I was like, why should I get with you when you have other boys? You have a boyfriend. I was very stressed, fully stressed, and I was smoking all the time. 1 year this happened, the first year. I didn't know first year she was really into me. And I heard his DF really played the manipulation tactics, right? She went off with other people and she was talking to other people and whatever else. So he got really triggered. But then he didn't trust whether it was true. He thought she was manipulating him, which she was. And then she stopped that. And then he has said to me that she is like hardcore in doing inner work. She went for it. She really did her work. Little separations happened in between. They did have that. He says the divine will show everything in your face. So the divine, or God, or whatever you want to call it, showed him as a divine masculine everything that he needed to know. He realized that she loved me. I said sorry to her. I did a lot of toxic things also. I didn't realize she loved me. She was suffering. She was too tough. I would upset her, but I denied the connection when she reached out to me in fear. And I know, like I said, I've been chatting to this divine masculine for a while. He was very much in anger, and A lot of toxicity with the family as well, but he's really good now. So well done. Okay, next question. Does he have thoughts about the divine feminine during separation? During separations, I had dreams about her, that we were together. Okay, the second section is to do with divine masculine spheres, resistance, and awakening. So the question is, what must happen for you to wake up? I didn't help her and she didn't help me. He means like physically, they didn't like try to fix each other. They allowed each other to do their thing in their separations. She did her thing. She talked to her boyfriend to hurt me. I denied the connection. He had a near-death experience. He had suicidal thoughts. I got separated from her. Then I sorted all my issues. It exhausted my brain. I took time in nature with friends. Then I got back to normal and I would come back again and go to her. And then again, the process of running and chasing. So they did a lot of weaving. What inner work did your divine feminine do? She knew that I was dumb from the start. She used tricks to get me to her. I registered that. She realized it wouldn't work that way. She was an attention seeker. She had to do her inner work with her father issues. He says that with twin flames, it automatically happens that you are forced to do your inner work. She was a control freak, reflecting my mother, who also tried to control me. He said I even had to slap his own mother to get out of that loop. Like it became very physical because he realized patterns. He said he realized the way his DF used to mirror his mother and he used to mirror her father. And then he also had downloads of what her life was like. So why she was the way she was. So, sometimes you act toxic and you feel bad as a divine feminine. They realize why you behave that way. Like you realize why they behave that way. Yeah. Like I've had dreams about my twins' childhood. Okay. I was behaving like her father. Everything was shown to me. My father is alcoholic and used to drink a lot. That made me into a people pleaser. And my mother was a narcissist, but my father was even more of a narcissist. How much time does the divine masculine take to awaken, and how does he understand the twin flame concept? So he said it depends on your dysfunctional patterns and how cured you are, how your family and genealogy is programmed. It can take 1 year or more. Depends on the knowledgeability of the divine masculine, how knowledgeable they are. I was very 3D before I saw your channel. So he found my channel. It just popped up on his Instagram and he started following me and understanding things. What is the biggest lesson your karmic attachments taught you? He said, I didn't have any karmic attachments, but there's always a love triangle. So it was a love triangle with the DF first, right? But then he also had 4 to 5 other girls who were interested in him, and he was kind of interested in them too, but not as much as the divine feminine. No one comes close. When divine feminine comes, all the others get done. But he did explain that what happened was anytime he tried to pursue any other connections, the divine shut it down. Why does the divine masculine try to hide and delete the biggest love they've always felt and dreamed of? He said it's patterns from childhood, family issues, insecurities, and you have to heal all of these. Why are you afraid when we only trust? That is the purpose of the journey, healing from fears. You will be afraid until you heal all the blocks. I used to run a lot. Now it doesn't help. Now it's normal for me to see her. So they do see each other, right? Okay. How do you overcome the fear to communicate and come back to the divine feminine? More of the time it will just happen. You will get clearly divinely guided to do this. You can't force the connection. It will be a disaster otherwise. The divine intervenes. I wanted to reach out to her thousands of times. I even tried, but the divine didn't allow it to happen. So they want to do it. But he said what would happen? He'd get stopped by the divine until he was cleared of whatever issue it was. So they want to reach out, but they get stopped, okay? Did you do inner work or external work? Okay. He said, everything will be shown to you. Recognize it and understand it. I was shown my ancestral patterns and my genealogy fully. It will be shown to you. I did not heal. I just saw the patterns, got to know the patterns, understood, and forgave all the people. There's no remedies. He said, I had serious issues, but I didn't take any healings. These things are there. I searched and found my Instagram. He said original twin flames, he means authentic twin flames, are fully capable of handling this journey. It's not for everyone. What specifically stopped him from reaching out during separation? What thoughts or feelings? He said the divine was saying to him that you are not ready. I am not reaching out to her at the moment. The divine was saying, don't reach out to her at the moment. You are not ready. I have to get out of looping, running, chasing, stopping all that, and then realize, so I'm just checking that you can hear me, and realize running, chasing will happen if you have issues, and it stops when you have basically resolved all that, when you have done something about it. So it seems like they are more logically seeing the patterns and then just changing it, just like that, and then forgiving and moving on. They do it physically, it seems like. It's like a program of activities in the physical world. The divine feminine always wants the divine masculine, but the divine masculine denies the connection and doesn't reach out because they know you both have to heal, and that only happens once you're both balanced. They know in the physical world when it's the right time. What scared you the most, either now or in the past, about the twin flame connection? It was very intense. Lots of stuff going on in my mind. He said it was like mixer grinder. So can you imagine like a washing machine? It was like constant thoughts going all the time in his head. Okay, the next section, 3 of 9, is about separation, longing, and no contact. Do you feel the pain, suffering, and longing just like the divine feminine? He said separation happened in phases. He'd come to the divine feminine's place, spend some time there. The connection would get too intense, could not handle it. He'd do toxic things, run away, go home, because his home was elsewhere. And then he would figure out what was happening. He couldn't withstand the intensity with the divine feminine, so he'd spend a week or two home to clear things out, and then he'd return once he was in a new dimension, he said. And then again, he'd get triggered, separation, and they've had 10 separations already. The first separation, he said in the first separation is when the divine feminine understands the connection, but it took him a while. Like, he knew that there was a sexual attraction, but he didn't know it was anything else more than that. Does the divine masculine feel the pull? Why doesn't he accept his feelings in front of the divine feminine? Fear, insecurity, and lots of issues. Is no contact painful or peaceful? It's not simple. No contact helps with the healing, and that's the purpose of it, to heal. For the divine feminine, it's very painful. For the divine masculine, actually, it's very blissful and peaceful. There is pain in the heart and the abdomen, and there are health issues. When in separation, you get dreams about her, and that means she is the one. There is missing, there's longing, there's sadness. And let me put a caveat. I think what he was trying to say was, yes, we get all that stuff, but it's harder for us to be with you when we haven't healed. It's actually painful. You know, we think it's going to be easy being with them, but they know that it's not, so they have to take that time out. Okay, sometimes happens that we focus on other things, and the divine feminine is not visible to us, and then we may feel the need to contact again, and we're reminiscing and thinking about the beautiful connection. Why we don't pursue their journey? Because it's so hard. So I think they just innately know, like, space is needed. Do you have a desire to communicate or want to communicate when in zero contact? Why didn't you act on this and talk to your divine feminine? The divine stopped us because we realize more healing is required. When does the divine masculine finally know about the connection? Does he wake up one day and just know? He said in separation, it is shown to you. After 8 to 9 months, he knew that she was still loving him. So for them, everything is shown to them physically somehow or the other. Okay? How do I help my divine masculine to be happy and have love in his heart? Nobody will help us. We have to help ourselves. You can't help each other. You have to do it alone. Resolve it alone, individually. And he kept saying that. So I think a lot of them know that you've got to do this work yourself. And that's more important than the actual relationship. Number 4, telepathy, signs, and spiritual synchronicities. Okay, I'm guessing you can all hear me. Okay. Do divine masculines feel the DF when they are away, like she does, telepathically speaking? I felt her so many times. The telepathy, the synchronicities. Earlier, I used to think about the synchronicities, like, what is this 1111? It's not as intense for us, limited, but it's always there. The same person. Do we hear her thoughts? No. But she used to come in the dreams and stuff. Okay. Do they experience dreams and telepathy like the Divine Feminine? And if so, how do they explain that to themselves? The Divine Feminine appears in our dreams as a very loving person. And then it happens so many times, in the end they realize, don't they, this is the one. Did they feel the pull and see the signs of the Divine Feminine whilst in separation? I feel the pull until you do the inner work. If we are one soul, if something happens to me, does he feel it? Do they have the same feelings? He says, no, I didn't feel the same stuff she was going through. Like that. Is telepathy real? So obviously he said yes. And then the next part, 5, is karmic relationships and their impact. Why do divine masculines choose karmics over divine feminines? I didn't have any karmics. In my mind, I thought I should have, but the divine always stopped me. Some DMs choose karmics out of fear or insecurity. Trying to block you out. Trying to say that it's nothing, right? They don't trust. What happens when the divine masculine tries to make a relationship work with the karmic or an ex? So he said again, I didn't do that, and the divine stopped me. And then there's loads of questions about how do they feel after marrying a karmic and give her everything, and why does he find being loyal, loving, and easy for the karmic? But obviously he's not gone through that. But he says some divine masculines, they get intense energy in the body, right? Sexual energy after they meet you. He said they feel like Superman. And I made a live about that, like why the divine masculine feels like a sex god. The Kundalini makes them really sexual, okay? And it attracts a lot of people to you. Attracts a lot of girls coming your way. Now, for some divine masculines who don't have that resilience, or what do you call it, when you like can stop something from happening, they will perhaps go off with other women in order to kind of stop thinking about you. He said that energy, the sexual energy, drives this journey. It balances out by working with yourself. From what he learned from my channel, he said about loving yourself. He used that. There's lots of questions about when they're in a karmic relationship. Do they miss a DF? How do you feel when you pose happily in pictures with karmic? Some of these questions are from your ego, girls. Okay. How do you feel when the DF is getting jealous of your karmic? Do you enjoy that? How do you identify karmic soul contract and wake up and walk away, even when you feel extremely attached? So those questions he couldn't answer because he's not had a karmic. He wanted to, but the divine stopped him. But for some DMs, the divine doesn't stop them, or even if it tries to, they still carry on, don't they? And that's because they either have karmic lessons to learn, or they're trying to stop thinking about you, they don't trust you, that you love them, or whatever else is playing. But in this situation, he didn't go off with anyone else. He thought about it, but it was stopped. The next question is about reunion and communication. How do you know when it's time to reconnect, and who takes the lead in that? So remember he said that they divinely, they feel it when it's the right time, when you've done enough inner work. The divine masculine leads in the 3D. I am in this phase right now for reunion because she has done a lot of inner work. It reflects in her face. I have to reach out to her. We need to be together, and I know we will trigger each other, but we must negotiate and compromise. On the outside, it may look very lovey-dovey and rosy, but we do trigger each other a lot and we do argue, but we choose to stay together because he gets the message from the divine that he needs to. I said, is the inner work, this is my question I added, is the inner work automatic? So if one does it, the other one does it straight away? Is it mirrored straight away? Because some people say it takes 6 months delay and this, that. I've always said it's straight away, right? So let's see what he says. He says, if she does the inner work, it reflects on me. She was very disciplined. She did a lot of inner work after she stopped her manipulation stuff. He said, I would get a notification. It's almost like getting a text message, but he would get a notification from the divine, like a download or something like that. Intuition, he said, intuition, that he has to maintain orderly fashion. He got a message from the divine. And when his initiation, intuition rises to that level, and therefore it's difficult to function with others. You grasp others and you start to grasp other people's energy a lot, and you start figuring out who's right and who's wrong, and your intuition guides you forwards. So basically, whatever she would do, his intuition would say, you got to stop that too, right? So for example, if she stopped flirting with guys, his intuition would say, you can't flirt with girls. Like, he would just intuitively know, just like that. All right. Once in union, are you likely to cheat? I can't tell you about that, but I have made up my mind that I should not cheat. We are so loyal to each other, it will not take action. I will not take action against that, right? So he's saying, for me, no, I will not cheat. Does the divine masculine know they're meant to be with the divine feminine in the end? So I explained this in the beginning. He says not 100% in the beginning. We don't have any help as divine masculines. Yeah, we don't. It's unique, this connection. If you tell others, they think you're crazy. We have a desire to be with the divine feminine, only her. It's always there. That desire is always there. In the beginning, it's sexual, but then they figure it out that it's not only just sexual. How long after the divine feminine reaches union with herself does the divine masculine come back for final reunion together? For him, he said it was 10 days later. We are very fast at catching up. I don't know. What pushes him to let go of all the toxicity and surrender to divine feminine's love permanently? Your divine feminine is not letting you let go. She's a hard worker. She stops all toxic things in her life. And then I have to mirror that and stop it in my life. How can I ruin this connection with someone who's such a hardworking, loyal person? I have to be the same back and be loyal back to her. Are you able to recognize when it's the right? So, okay, before we continue. So I think he's saying that if she is loyal and hardworking, I do the same. So with some of you, maybe your doubts are the problem. Your doubts. Okay, next question. Are you able to recognize when it's the right time to reunite with the divine feminine? Now I am not talking to her, but I know it can happen anytime soon. The thought comes into my mind intuitively. I lead, I feel it, I do it. So he knows, he said it's in the next few weeks he's going to be in union. He just knows it. All right, the next question is challenges and personal growth. What problems or triggers do you face as a divine masculine? So many problems. Family is most of it. You have to get rid of that. They will always try to pull you back into looping. I recognize again, it's very logical. I recognize the patterns and the phases and what they are doing to me, and that I should let all of these things go. And then I realized they were acting like their parents and their society, and it's they're a product of their own stuff, and I become aware of it. It's unconscious for them, and that we can't blame our family, and we get out the loops. Stop blaming them. My mother was very controlling. My father was alcoholic. Both were narcissists. What happens to the divine feminine in her life and childhood was also shown to me. Why she behaves the way she is and why she has all the issues she has. She used to get a lot of attention from other males. And why was that? She was doing that a lot. And getting attention. He realized that, she didn't get attention as a child or whatever else. It was shown through me, through a family member, cousin or something, a female cousin. He had to take to the hospital, and he saw that her father showed up, and the cousin's father, he was afraid of the father. The way he was talking to his daughter, he used to manipulate her, get a reaction out of her, and she was very fed up. And basically, he realized that's how his divine feminine's childhood was. What is your experience with the distorted ego, and how does that cloud your world? He said it affects your life. The ego is the center of attraction. It doesn't think about others. I would focus on my work, but then I realized that I need to get out of my ego, and I was very embarrassed. I realized I am not important to the world, the ego business, the looping, and you have to get out of the programs and forgive yourself. So he was saying stuff like, he used to study really hard because he has to become successful, and it's all I, and the divine was showing him that it's not about I, and it's not just about you. You're just a little speck in the entire universe, sort of thing. What cycles has kept you stuck in, and how do you move from the ego to your authenticity? Okay, thunderbolts, thunderstorms, ego death, dark nights, they get blasted, okay? My life fell apart. I wanted to focus on my career, but the divine would not allow me to focus on that. So he was studying at university, wouldn't let him focus on that, to where he wanted to go. You will get to a point. I had to let go, and I wanted to focus on studying, but I was very frustrated because the divine kept saying to me, none of this is real. None of this ego world is real. Whew. Okay. How do you feel during the dark night of the soul? I felt chopped into pieces. I couldn't even get any help. It was the most intense thing I ever went through. I had 3 dark nights of the soul. The first was very intense, and the second was very purging. I used to get very angry, resentful. What did I do to deserve this? They would last up to a week. What happens in the Divine Masculine's life when the DF is focused on living happily and peacefully with herself? When she's happy, we feel that we have to catch up to that. We have to become on the same level, okay? That we should do the work. I shouldn't do other things that are like, not good. The DF is the leader in that sense, in the inner work. So basically, the more balanced, happy, joyful, focused on your own life that you are, they feel like they have to catch up to that and be on the same level as you. As you lament, distress, depress, get angry, annoyed, frustrated, sadness, low vibration, you're not helping him. He just matches that then. You have to get yourself, naturally, I guess, can't force it, to that place of total bliss and love in a union, and then they match it. Okay, now the fun part. Number 8, sexual energy and emotional intensity. How does sexual intimacy feel to the DM with the DF? How does it feel different from others? He said it feels blissful, and it's not the same as with others. Other girls cannot fulfill you. How come when they seem to ascend, they go celibate for long periods and then they go back into sexual energy again and pleasure outside? He said there's intense sexual energy, there's phases. They feel powerfully superhuman. Like, remember I said the why does a DM think he's a sex god? That was a live I did. So they feel so invincible and powerful, like the man, they feel so wow. But then they go into celibacy and then they feel balanced. And then the sexual energy comes back again with intense energy. And it just comes in waves, he says. And it helps to heal, actually, because it's the Kundalini. Why are they always hot and cold? He said it's all to do with the father-mother narcissistic issues that are imprinted, and we do it unconsciously. What is the feeling of the DM when the DF chases him? Is it irritating or scary? I feel special about myself. When she's chasing me, I feel really special. I feel really important. I have never felt that way before. I've never had anyone look at me like that. I feel happy. And no one else makes me feel that way. And it makes me feel important. Okay. But then you add that to the intense sexual energies and all the stuff they're going through, and then they go a bit loopy and wild, maybe. Okay. I'm going to finish off the last section now. There's quite a few questions. But from what we've read so far, all the information Mr. Manning been given on this channel has been accurate by the looks of things, hopefully. Right. Number 9, final thoughts and advice from the Divine Masculine. What message do you have for other DMs on the journey? You have to be more aware and understanding, as there are no other remedies for this. The world has a lot of dysfunctional patterns. Doctors cannot help you. You have to do it yourself. I had like red eyes. He had like health issues, whatever, but no one could help him. Okay. They couldn't understand why. I had to recognize, understand, and research whatever suited me, but he did a lot of research, okay? A lot of accounts out there are now sharing content about surrendering to a soulmate. What are your thoughts on this? I don't know about this. He also said like he wants to be with his DF and he's made his mind up. Like he said, he's not going to cheat on her and he wants to be with her and he wants to marry her and she's the one, and he's very committed to her. Okay, did they recognize the Divine Feminine, or did it take the Divine Feminine for them to understand the journey? So like he said in the beginning, it's sexual for them. They don't understand it's the one. They don't understand anything. I just feel very sexually attracted. So he says the DM recognizes first. It's an intense sexual attraction because of the physical aspects. It's very sexually physical. They get excited, okay? More than anyone else. I didn't even know the word twin flame until he came to my account. My account was shown to him naturally by the Divine or something. Then there's other questions which he's already answered. Do you know the DF is the one before the DF knows? Well, they don't know you're the one. They're just sexually attracted to you. What made him realize he was on the twin flame journey? He came across my account on Instagram. Do you know you are awakening, or do you think it's nothing? We know exactly what's happening. That there's something. The shift's always happening to them. Then you realize it's a journey. It's not a one-off. It's about being with yourself first. It's not about being with your DF. first. They know that they have to be alone. So don't push them, girls. Don't push them. Okay. What is the ultimate turning point for him, even though he's not aware of the journey on the surface level at first? You will get to know that your DF loves you. I felt I should do something after his second or third purging. Then they start realizing once they start having the ego deaths. And the last thing, and then I asked him a question too. Someone said, not a question, but a note. We love you. We understand your journey is more complex and confusing. We stand by you and thank you for bringing us our light. You know, I don't think their journey is more complex and confusing. I think they just get on with it and they know a lot more than we think they know. I think we complicate it for ourselves. Okay, then I asked him about my channel because I said to him, when you come to my channel, like, do you feel like I'm manipulative? Because he said they feel it when you're manipulating, right? His DF was manipulative. Do you feel like my stuff is like authentic? Like, what vibe do you get from me? And then also, like, is it intense? Like, why is my DM not reaching out to me? Because, you know, clearly he's been, you know, missing in action. So he says, Manny, I feel an energy around you. So, like, you know, the loving energy, the aura, whatever you want to call it, he feels like really good energy. He said it's all informational. There's no manipulation, but it's very powerful energy. And he said a lot of divine feminines have very powerful energy, intense energy, but mine apparently is very powerful. And divine feminine energy is very powerful, and it scares the DMs. And if the DM ain't done their inner work, or, you know, their work by figuring out and logically resolving things, and they won't be able to reach out to you until they do that. Once they do that, they won't be scared. They'll realize the pattern, let go and forgive, and the purging will happen automatically. So he said he's more than happy to come back again. He's going to tell me about things that he's going through in the next few weeks. Someone I keep in touch with quite a regular basis, actually. Very grateful. Like I said in the beginning, he used to swear at me and be nasty to me, like some other divine masculine had done before, because they were going through issues. But now look at the transformation. You know, I never reacted. I was really kind. And they're so amazing, right? And there's a lot of wisdom. And he's a very cool person. Like I said, he's heterosexual, so straight. So it's a male DM who likes a woman. It's very rare to find them. And then also, he doesn't want to come on the camera because they don't want to show what they've done, you know, and they don't want to be exposed. And that's a true divine masculine. If I'm honest with you, if a true divine masculine doesn't generally want to come on the show, they don't want to talk about what they've done, and they are being very vulnerable. So the next time he agrees to do another one of these, you can ask some more questions, and hopefully more DMs will come forward to be answer. Maybe my DM one day will. So that's all we got for today, folks. Someone said they're always late to the party. It doesn't matter. It's all going to be saved. I'm not going to answer any questions because today is not about that. And if you've got like moaning stuff that you're writing, that he's blocked me or he's done this, well, do your inner work and stop moaning. Okay? Sorry. Be tough, be kind, be gentle, be loving. But yeah, very interesting. I hope you keep doing your inner work. The intense energies have calmed down a little bit. And keep, like he said, if you as a divine feminine are in a place of happiness and peace and bliss and living your life and your purpose, the DM has to match that. If you are moaning and all that, which is fine, you're going through the process, he will only match that in that time. So keep elevating, keep pushing it. And I wish you all the best on this journey because you can do it. He said all twin flames, true twin flames, are pre-programmed to be able to deal with this. You can do it. You definitely can. And from his recollections, he's doing a great job. And we should be proud of him. Take care. See you later. Bye.